Entombed Valley is our second map. To the top right, we have in the red our Terran player up the game, starting for Complexity. Formerly a Slayers player. It is
Complexity GanZI.
Really nice game on the first map, was able to shut down any attempts of his opponent in order to get into good positions in the main base. Every single drop with the Warp Prism was completely useless. Very well done. To the bottom left now, in the blue color, starting for SK Gaming, is the Protoss player.
SKMC.
He looked a little bit shaky on the last map. We'll see if he's able to tie the series or if GanZI is actually taking this with a 2-0 as well. So MC is actually, well, he's probably the most outgoing Korean I know.
Yeah.
The most extroverted Korean I know. People love him for his ceremonies. He's always attending a ton of foreign events. He's doing pretty well, but now he's facing in the third round of coL GanZI, who's up a game, and MC might well find himself in the up and down matches.
I saw his facial expressions in that booth and we just got a shot of him.
14 CC by GanZI,
yep.
cross position.
CC, making it on the high ground. I saw MC's facial expression in his booth just a moment ago, and maybe to the layman it's like, well, I think he's really confident, he doesn't seem phased, but I can see a little bit of stress, like in even his arm movements, the way he's blinking. Like I can tell MC is definitely stressed here going to the second game. I said it before we started, I felt the first game would be the game MC plays a macro game on, and the second and third games he might go for all-ins, but I did not know we were going to be on Entombed Valley for the second map. This may be a map where MC plays a longer game again. When he sees this command center timing though, what will he do to react? We're not at close positions. He can't do a probe pull or anything like that to punish this. There's no way for him to punish this command center. He may have to double expand, do something like Parting does. He has a few options available to him. He may try to do an aggressive one-base play. He hasn't taken his second gas yet. Only time will tell what his move will be, but that's what GanZI's saying when he sees his probe. He says, your move, MC. I'm going command center first. Yeah, the ball is definitely in MC's court right now, so GanZI is showing him that he has the command center first. Well, not really showing it, but probe is able to spot it. And you're right, with cross positions, it's going to be really hard for MC to put on pressure. He builds a pile on the low ground right now, preparing for a base, and we'll see what MC is going to do. He's got a lot of chrono energy saved up on his Nexus right now. He's not chronoing his Warp Gate research, nor is he chronoing units. He's just going to cut a little bit here, make a Nexus. A faster one-gate expand, if you will. He's putting a little bit of pressure on with the Zealot, but it's not going to succeed with good micro. Too many Marines will be there. Yep. There are already 3 of them. 3 is all you need.
Exactly. With good micro, you can definitely kill the Zealot, and this is also why MC doesn't really commit to this.
Yep.
At least not yet.
He is going to potentially deny the command center from landing if he wants to. He decides not to.
We have one Stalker, and this is what MC is waiting for. He tries to start kiting his opponent's units. 5 Marines so far. And the Stalker is now joining the Probe and the Zealot.
Oh, if he's attacking the neutral depot, he might be able to... Nope, not going to take advantage of that. Going to run up now, but there are 5 Marines, and with good micro, he's going to lose a few of them, but the Stalker will now have to retreat.
The Sentry, though, sneaks in again, and he moves in, sees the double refinery here.
He knows it's not going to be a faster third. He knows how many barracks have been made.
It was actually well done by MC. He loses a lot of shields, obviously all of the shields on his Stalker, a little bit of hit points as well. The Zealot is dead. He killed a few Marines, but he gets the SCV into the main base, knows about the timings for the gas, so all the scouting information that he needs. And following it up with 2 additional gateways, well, we're 27 against 28 harvesters right now, and this also shows that GanZI is in a great position. He has the base a bit earlier, he has started his double SCV production, and usually the Terran player is a little bit behind in harvesters because he has to upgrade his orbital, his command center into an orbital, and loses this time to build additional SCVs. The mules more than make up for it, but right now we have both of them at the same work account, and suddenly those 2 mules that GanZI has are just paying off so much.
They really are. We have very, very fast +1 and stem off of this type of expand. Usually you can't get it this quickly when you're going for the just command center first, but in this case he's going to have it. Stalker's continuing to pressure at GanZI's front. He's not able to He's not able to do enough with them, though, but he's going to keep them there. This is very smart for IMC. It allows him to scout. If any units move out, he can potentially pick off another Marine or two.
I like that GanZI is playing it extra safe here. He builds immediately a second bunker. He completely walls off with his supply depots as well. I really like that he's making this choice. And MC, on the other hand, has a little bit of a later robo here. Maybe with the Twilight Council too. And he knows that with the timing that he saw, he knows the timings for potential Banshee play. We've seen a couple of Terran players starting with a delayed Cloak Banshee, which sometimes can do some damage, not starting off with the gas right away. And this can actually hit pretty hard. I've seen, for example, Bomber play against Naniwa when they were practicing for the coDES games, and at some point Bomber was just like, okay, well, I'm just doing a little bit of late of a Banshee play, just one Banshee, and if this Banshee actually hits a Protoss player's base when he does not have an observer there and he doesn't expect the Banshee to be in position, then suddenly you're in the weird situation that you have to fly back with an observer, you have to chrono boost a new one, and this time you will lose a ton of your harvesters.
MC is going up to 6 gateways, by the way. Blink is, you know, it's on its way. It's about a third of the way done. MC may hit with a very Stalker-heavy 6 gateway attack that basically with Blink, Stalker, Micro, even if your opponent has Medivacs out, he's not going to have very many. And if you Blink, Stalker, Micro well enough, you may be able to trade well. You usually will never kill your opponent with a push like this, but it's an aggressive way to keep your opponent's army size low or punish him if he has a 3rd command center. And I think MC, yeah, he's adding more gateways now, adding 2 additional ones, going up to 8.
I'm not quite sure though if he really will be able to do too much pressure with this. I mean, he will be able to do a lot of pressure with this, but if it's really going to be successful, because we have Stim done, we have Combat Shield, which will be done, and he is going for upgrades as well. Medivac production is now en route. We have the first 2 being built, so this push might just be a little bit too late to do enough damage.
He may not even go with it.
Yeah.
It's weird that he's made this many gateways all at once rather than making the 3rd Nexus first, but it looks like he is preparing himself for an
expansion.
Yeah, he's preparing to hold aggression from GanZI first.
He's taking down the docks at this point. He's trying to go for the...
He's getting charged.
Wall Prism as well.
This is not common. This is a weird way to expand. It's like doing what Parting does but in reverse, going up to 8 gateways and then making the Nexus rather than going to the Nexus first.
And we have a 3rd orbital on the way for GanZI.
Yep.
Just building it.
It's almost
Combat
done.
Shield done now. And with all these all these medivacs that he has, as soon as MC starts to take his 3rd base, he can actually just try to use his drop play. The 3 bases, if you use the high and low ground to your advantage, you have a lot of spots where you can drop. Blink Stalkers are obviously a problem for medivacs. As soon as you try to defend with Blink Stalkers, the Protoss player is kind of safe, but it's still something that GanZI could just try with 1 or 2 medivacs, as MC is moving out.
We have a 3 Zealot drop coming down to the side as he moves out here. So it looks like he wants to attack the 3rd base location of GanZI, which is what he expects. You can tell by his movements.
Has been scouted though. The factory that is floating towards the 3rd base now was able to spot it in time.
Yep, he's going to be prepared. He's got to be ready for both angles though, which is what MC's going to try to draw him back with the Zealot drop and attack the 3rd base location, but GanZI neither has his units out of position, nor does he even have the command center over there. He's actually just going to keep it in his main for a little bit longer. Archons are being morphed as MC heads towards double upgrades with his forges on the way, but already GanZI has 1-1. He has a better army composition. He has 95 army supply at 83, and if he engages MC when MC is on this ramp, he will win this fight 20 out of 10 times, man.
Oh, he's trying to get into the natural. There are no force fields.
If he gets into this position with the factory landing, that's it, man. This game is over. MC cannot win an engagement through that choke point. This game will end.
They can't attack into the choke point. You're so right. He's trying to take down the factory, but beautiful position for GanZI. He's on top of the ramp, and he can just wait for his opponent to attack into a horrible position.
This is every Protoss' nightmare, man.
Yes.
Having to fight at this choke point against a Terran army with better upgrades. MC is dead. DEAD dead.
He warps in units in his opponent's base, but this is over. GG as GanZI takes it 2-0.
Never, ever, ever. He always flashes that complexity logo when he wins. He's proud of his team, but you never want to engage in that position as a Protoss. And GanZI knows that. He positioned himself well. And it's a tough decision to make. Where do you fight when someone's attacking your 3rd base like that as a Protoss?
MC can't believe it.
He can't
cannot believe it. He had a good army, and if he would have been on top of the ramp, then he would have been able to defend against this. But he was positioned to the third base, and then suddenly GanZI just walks up the ramp at the natural, and suddenly he is at the best position possible. He even lands the factory. Even without the factory, it would have been horrible for MC. He would have had to attack into a choke point or lose his natural and then his main base. So from the point on when GanZI positioned himself right next to the natural, there was just no way for MC to take this game anymore.
Yeah. No return at all.
Positioning is so important in this matchup, and when you're in this position, it's basically checkmate.
Especially with all the tech that MC committed to at the last second there. He did have his charge, but he was making Templar to make Archons. The Archons were never even able to really fight. You have to fight on the open with that composition. That's what GanZI abused. He went into that narrow choke point. No matter what, if you cannot use your Zealots when you're a Zealot-heavy composition, of course you will lose the fight. That's why I said you lose that fight situation. 20 out of 10 times, man. You lose that fight twice. If MC had twice as many Zealots as he did before that and engaged in that same position, he still loses.
You either lose your expansion and then probably the main base as well, or you lose your army, or you have to attack. It's a lose-lose situation. You have to make sure that you are in this position.
You have to fight in the middle. You cannot allow him to get to that ramp. A Protoss who is Zealot heavy can never fight near a choke point or near a ramp where the Terran is either on the low or high ground. You can't do that.
He can't attack into it. So
yeah, he can't do that either because he's behind an army supply. Yep. He made a composition that was inferior to GanZI's. GanZI's had better upgrades. He killed him.
Not really what we expected here, but GanZI playing really, really strong today. And MC, he lost every single game. Therefore, he finds himself in the up and downs now. And we have our next match coming up after a 5-minute break, which is going to be another Terran versus Terran. And I am really excited about it because we have Happy again, and he surprised us, I think it was last week.
Yeah, he has not been able to
TVT.
He's been in coDES before, but he has not been able to really shine. He hasn't had his top moment where he gets to the finals or gets to the round of 4 or anything like that. He's just kind of been this player who's always around. He's on a star team. He's on LGIM, and he may be able to take this match against 4GG, who's currently teamless, as OGS is basically disbanding. It's been announced. The players are kind of finding their own path at this point. But I'm really curious to see how 4GG does as well, because he's kind of an up-and-comer in the scene. These days, he's not been able to show the best results. His timing seemed good, but he seems like he's still lacking a little bit of refinement, similarly to Hyun, one of those other Brood War pros who switched a little bit more recently, lacking some refinement.
Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting TVT. Already had one earlier this day when Keen was facing MMA. A really interesting match. And let's see what Happy and Finn are going to do. We have a quick 5-minute break, and then we are back with coL with Calden Wolf.
Oh, nice. More Zealots.
You could be my it girl. Damn, you got me whipped, girl. Loving you could be a crime. Crazy how we fit, girl. This is it, girl. Give me 25 to life. I just wanna rock all